like a dog in the street.
Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Okay, Vikings lose 19-17 at home to the Chicago Bears. A game-winning field goal after a Vikings special teams meltdown erases what was a double-digit 2-touchdown comeback and a J.J. McCarthy go-ahead touchdown strike. A lot to discuss off this game here live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, Vikings Vent Line, the most fan-friendly show in all of Minnesota sports, the people show, if you will. We'll give our immediate takes off the top of the show here, and then we'll turn it over to you guys, Vikings fans, to offer up your opinions and your thoughts. If you'd like to get on the show, send a request to vikingsventline@gmail.com. We'll try to get to as many people as possible over the next couple hours or so. Keep it clean. I know people are going to be pissed today. Just don't get us fired, I guess, is all we ask. We got the sports dad, Judd Zulgad, at US Bank Stadium right now. Phil Mackey and Declan Goff in our home studios. And before we get to our main takeaways from this game here, a couple of shout-outs. North American Banking Company for powering Vikings Vent Line every week. And Quick Trip, Judd. You may have to stop just to cool down at Quick Trip on your way home tonight.
That's a very good point, because you know what? I'm going to be driving home. I'm going to be hot about this game, very, very hot, and I want to cool off, and you're exactly right. You know what Quick Trip has? They have all the answers when it comes to cooling off. Delicious pop. You've got ice at Quick Trip, and so much more. If you're watching this right now, you are seeing all of the options available to you. If you're driving to work tomorrow and you say to yourself, I need a snack for work, or heck, I need lunch, then guess what? Quick Trip is going to have the answers. I continue to say this, but Quick Trip might be the greatest play caller around, because it has the answers to the tests, and the tests aren't dropped. They're not overthrown. Quick Trip, it's a winner every single time, undefeated to date.
All right, a few thousand of you have poured in here off the top. We'll populate the green room here with Vikings fans and get you guys queued up shortly here. Do us a favor, if you could, click the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel if you haven't already. Welcome to the best wins and losses. We feel like it's the best Vikings podcast community you're going to find. So if this is your first time finding us, welcome in. And click the like button on this episode to keep spreading the word about Purple Daily here. Judd, what was your number one takeaway off this 19-17 loss to the Bears?
Well, it's funny because the Vikings almost came back and won. They didn't deserve to win. Now, I would make an argument the Bears also did not deserve to win. I think both teams absolutely
should have been a tie. Should have been a tie.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. And if this is a Bear show, I'm talking about the fact that I think Ben Johnson had an atrocious day when it came to being a coach. But it's not. It's about the Vikings, and it's about J.J. McCarthy, and he had an awful day. He didn't get help. So I charted this, okay? So I have 54 offensive plays, 22 runs, 32 passes. I have 6 documented bad throws for McCarthy. That includes his 2 picks. And I have 5 drops throughout the day. But just from a quarterback perspective, I mean, this was the worst I think I've seen. It was just absolutely atrocious. Throws sailing, throws underthrown, throws picked off. The anticipatory throws not being anticipatory, and instead he's trying to wait until he sees guys flash, as opposed to being this is the National Football League. You throw the ball to where the guy is going to be, not where he currently is. So I really think the story of this game is McCarthy, and the fact that if this is what it's sort of going to be like, and look, I know the last drive was fun and it was hurry up and it was great, but if this is what it's going to be like, I think you need to accept the fact that you're just going to lose a bunch of football games. I don't see a winnable formula here, and certainly going hurry up, which he was great at, is not a formula. I don't think that works for 4 quarters. So if this is your destiny, and it might be, I think you just, if you're going to accept the lumps that come with trying to develop him, I think you have to accept the fact that you're going to lose games. It's that simple.
Yeah, I think, there's layers of takeaways here. The number one takeaway I have is this was, until that final drive, one of the worst quarterback performances we've seen in 30 years of Vikings football. It was, in fact, I was even looking up his passer rating was 14 at one point before that final drive. And since 1990 in Vikings history, Let's say he would have finished with a passer rating of 20 or less, it was at like 14 going into that final drive. That's only happened 5 other times if you count starting quarterbacks who threw the ball at least 15 times in a game. Spurgeon win, the Spurgeon win game that we all talk about from like 20 years ago. He had a 20 passer rating in that game. He threw a pick 6. Kirk Cousins had one at the Colts in 2020 that was a 15.9 passer rating. Dante Culpepper had a clunker back in 2001. Sean Salisbury, Brad Johnson in 2006 against the Bears. But it was tracking for one of the worst quarterback performances in recent Vikings history. If you did a pie chart of that performance, it would be like 90% McCarthy, inaccurate, timing was off, not quickly reading the field. Maybe the hand played a little bit of a role, but I mean, at this point, hey man, like you're probably not going to feel close to 100% much at all in your NFL career. And then you had like Jordan Addison dropping passes, Hawkinson after the nice chunk on the last drive, inexplicable drop on the second down play. So again, 90% J.J. McCarthy, absolute terrible day at quarterback. I thought Kevin O'Connell as a play caller, pretty good mix, man. Like running a lot early, setting up some short yardage stuff. Yeah. They were pounding the run. They got away from the run a little bit, and they got back into it in the fourth quarter.
Not the problem,
so
right?
Not going to hammer him like last week, but McCarthy was terrible. And then he shows up. Okay, this is what you want. Flush the 3 hours that you just played terribly for. Lock it in with the game on the line. And he does. And that's part of this process too. He has shown an aptitude for, hey, when it requires it at the end against the Bears, the Lions, right? He has leveled his game up, and he does just that. And then what happens? Another Vikings special teams meltdown, which aside from Will Reichert and Miles Price, who's shown some great flashes, the coverage stuff, the penalties, has been a common theme under Kevin O'Connell and Matt Daniels, the special teams coordinator. So to me, those are the two things. Like McCarthy, mostly terrible, but showed you as part of this process, you're watching a quarterback develop and incubate in front of your eyes. There's going to be a lot of bad. Do people have the stomach for this? Do fans and media have the stomach for this? Do the Vikings have the stomach for this?
Well, that's the bigger
question. But then when he delivers it at the end,
right,
then the special teams absolutely wets itself and puts the Bears right in field goal range.
I think the biggest question is this. Do the Wilfs, forget the Vikings, do the Wilfs who own this team have the stomach to watch this? And I do not know, unfortunately, that the answer is yes. But just back to McCarthy or the play calling for the offense by O'Connell in the second half, J.J. McCarthy going into that last drive on which the Vikings scored was 0 for 5. He hadn't completed a pass, but he had thrown 5 passes. So they really went to the run there. And his first completion was that 21-yard pass after the 3-yard run by Aaron Jones to Hawkinson. And that began that last drive. But he couldn't complete a pass besides that. So
it was really bad.
But I do think there's a big question is, do the Wilfs have the stomach for this? And I cannot sit here and guarantee you that they do.
Yeah. Dex, what was your main takeaway from this loss today?
It was so strange because the Bears, in my opinion, I mean, yeah, they won and another miraculous last-second victory for Chicago. But they certainly didn't play anything that was inspiring or that didn't allow the Vikings to completely take over this game. And McCarthy had a horrendous game for 57 minutes today. And special teams continues to be a ridiculous thing for the Vikings. I kind of find it a little bit ironic that they have found a nails kicker for the first time potentially since Ryan Longwell, and the rest of their special teams is the most embarrassing thing of all time. And this is a franchise that is littered with problems with their kicker. So it's kind of poetic that this is happening. But at the end of the day, they had every right to win this game and take control of it and go back and forth. And instead it was a very ugly football game. Chicago comes out on top. And I think there's a few hot takes in the grab bag that I'm trying to figure out which one I want to sling tomorrow. But Judd kind of hinted at it a little bit there too with the ownership. Forget just Vikings fans' patience with McCarthy, which is going to be a big thing here probably for the rest of the season and beyond. The ownership part, I think, is also a new intriguing wrinkle here that we also probably have to bring up in the grand scheme of things.
I want to throw a shout out too, since we're griping about things, and I believe I have the pie chart tomorrow officially, so we'll sort out who gets the most blame. But the Vikings defense gave up 2 third and 13. It was a 3rd and 13 in the second half and a 3rd and 14 in key moments. One of them led to 3 points directly. The other one milked a bunch of time off the clock afterwards. And, of course, the Vikings still wound up scoring a touchdown to go ahead. But, yeah, just a bunch of – it's kind of crazy because a lot of the stuff that was on the board last week for reasons why they lost, they actually corrected some of it, like the penalty, the pre-snap penalties, the run pass ratio to some extent. They were hammering the run game a lot more today. And then like new things pop up. And I guess that's what happens when you are just not a great football team. You fix a couple problems and then 2 more leaks spring in other areas of the room. And that's what happened today. So yeah, there's 6,000 of you here for this therapy session live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Again, if you're just jumping in, Judd Zulgad from the stadium, Phil Mackey, Declan Goff. This is the place to be after every single Vikings game. Purple Daily YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button, please, if you're new here, and the like button on this episode. And let's let the therapy session commence. Dex, who's first out of the gate here on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go. Brian's at the stadium. Hi, Brian. What's going
Brian.
on?
Hey, guys. Just making my way out of the stadium, and I guess what I've been working on all week is going back and forth with some of my buddies about why to have patience. And I guess after this game, that's probably the hardest thing to find. So McCarthy has pretty much hit every moment except for kind of his handoff merchant stuff towards the end. I guess I don't even know where to start, but I guess one thing I have is, why do you think everyone seems to also be dropping his balls on, I don't know, I guess trying to find hope on this way out of the stadium. Lots of Bears fans here, lots of good camaraderie, hate against the Packers, and too bad the Packers pulled it out, I think. But that was kind of our one saving grace up until the end with that joke too. So
Yeah, no, Brian. Brian kind of brought the word patience up there, Judd, and how it's hard. So how are you? And this is going to be a conversation throughout the week and throughout, who knows, maybe the next year and a half. We don't really know. But as you're trying to weigh watching a terrible performance by a young quarterback short term, but also, not everyone is just going to jump in and click right away. There's accuracy issues and whatnot. So what does the word patience mean to you after a game like that?
Well, this is sort of what I was talking about last week now with this loss. And I know it's a tough loss because it was, again, in the bag of eminently winnable football games, it goes right in that satchel. But I think you need to make a decision here. And I think the decision is you're 2 games below 500. Making the playoffs now becomes extremely difficult. Do you have at least the patience to ride it out for the rest of the season, just play them for better or for worse? You might lose every single game. But if you do and it doesn't develop, then you at least have an idea. So we are so used to this team trying to achieve, if nothing else, being mediocre, right? Like, can you get to 500? Can you get a game above? Can you make a late playoff run? I mean, how many times has this team made that sort of late playoff run and you're going into Christmas and then it's like, well, they're hot. They've won 4 consecutive games. So I honestly think you need to accept your fate now. This sucks, but I think you need to accept your fate. I think your fate is not going to be a playoff team. And I think that you need to play McCarthy for the rest of the season and then judge. And if the Wilfs say, you know what, we can't stomach this, then he's probably gone, or he's competing. I don't know what the answer is. But with where things stand right now, I think this is an opportunity for you to just say, all right, let's wait and see. Let's let the kid play. And by the way, if it goes really bad, the finger pointing in TCO Performance Center is going to be spectacular. Because there's a lot of blame here. Hey, the kid quarterback. Well, what about, O'Connell could come back with, well, what about these free agents you signed? They're all supposed to be great, and they're not. So I do think that there is some room for some real heated discussions. But I am letting McCarthy play the rest of the season, and if it's this bad, I think you got a pretty good read. If there's improvement, that helps a lot.
Yeah, is there really, before we get back to the vent lines here? That's the thing, is part of this discussion. Well, I'm okay with being patient, and I think history has shown there's a lot more examples of teams doing wrong by a quarterback or not waiting long enough or whatever, because it's an impatient world we live in the NFL especially. But, this is, if you ranked all the infrastructures that quarterbacks were jumping into, even if this roster isn't quite as advertised maybe a few months ago, it's not the Jets. It's not the Browns' usual rosters. It's not the Bears when Caleb Williams jumped in last year, where you had a head coach that had no business overseeing the development of a young quarterback. So I think it's fair to expect a little bit or a lot earlier returns in this situation. I don't think it has to happen in the first 5 games where, oh, there we go, fully formed product. So that's another gray area too, where, all right, well, we're giving you some pretty nice tools to work with here. It has to click a little sooner than later, and you did get a year to sort of sit behind the scenes and soak things in your first year. So it's there's some nuance there. Okay, Dex, back to the vent lines. Who's next?
Yeah, let's go to Sam. Sam, what's up, man? You're on
Sam.
Vent Line.
Hey, thanks for having me, you guys. I am depressed. I'm very sad right now. I feel like a Bears. I literally wrote down, I feel like the Vikings this year were the Bears last year, where they were in really tight games and they would just heartbreakingly lose. And I'm like, oh, that's the Bears. Now this year, I'm like, damn, that's what that feels like. All that work for nothing, which I get it. Divisional games are weird too. And it was still entertaining and very frustrating. But I have kind of a mini hot take that's kind of pessimistic for the game and something I want to point out and ask your guys' opinion on. Because I guess my pessimistic take is the only reason we were really kind of in that game, other than when the defense was showing up, was it seemed like if Miles Price didn't have that great field position to score, we wouldn't have even been in a tight game. And that's just like, you can't bank on that every game. It happened to happen. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's capitalize on it. So to lose that close made it that much more painful. And my wife and I were watching the game all game long. This is what I want to pick your brain about, and I'll let other callers get on. So thanks for having me. But I just feel like I can't tell if this is football in 2025 or if it's Brian Flores or what the deal is, but nobody was finishing tackles. Like, it felt like, I can't tell if it's a strategic thing of, oh, they think you're going to rush, so I'm actually going to throw it. And you're in this like 5-7 feet away from each other standoff thing. And I was like, just tackle, like, just get him. Like, someone just tackle him, like, do your job. Like, what are we doing? And so I was getting so heated up, being like, I can't tell if they're trying not to get a penalty or if they're just trying to like play chess. But this game just felt so frustrating to watch in that regard.
So I think, you definitely reflect, I think, a lot of Vikings fans' frustrations for sure. It is, man, like, they finally corralled him for a couple sacks, but it does feel like, anecdotally, the Vikings have missed on more sack opportunities this season. Grenard, for sure, he wasn't playing today. Dallas Turner finally got one, but he had one where he's got 2 handfuls of jersey at one point, and he's on the ground. So it has been frustrating to watch that with the Vikings defense, where they'll have it corralled, and some of these quarterbacks too, the Lamar Jacksons and Caleb Williams, they're slippery, man. Like, they're athletic, and also you're trying to walk the line of, you don't want to tackle him in the wrong way because it'll get flagged. So let's keep going here. Therapy session continues. Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, let's go to Peyton next year on Vent Line. Hey, Peyton, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? I don't really want to talk about McCarthy too much more because I feel like that's just been beaten to death at this point. That obviously he really all season long, but specifically today in the last game, the accuracy was just, so bad that it's even kind of hard to fathom that an NFL quarterback could actually play that poorly. But I feel like, there's other quarterbacks that have also had bad accuracy problems. Like, I think Caleb Williams also has pretty bad accuracy at times, especially earlier in the game. I think he finished like 50% from in the game. But the biggest difference so far is, you can have accuracy issues and just throw a lot of incompletions. But when you're throwing like what should have been 3 interceptions today, that's where it really just kind of crosses the line to being, it's just hard to win games when you're turning the ball over like that. And unfortunately, unlike last year, our defense just cannot get a turnover to save their lives. And it really feels like we kind of used all of our defensive turnovers this year in the Bengals game, which was really fun to watch. But at the end of the day, like, we probably could have gotten by with like 1, maybe even 0 in that game and still, beating the brakes off them. But I think this season and today especially kind of opened my eyes to just kind of the outlook of the team and how bleak it looks, just in the standpoint of it looks kind of directionless, and it doesn't really look like there's that much to really look forward to into like even like next offseason. And especially if JJ McCarthy continues to play like this, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say if he finishes the season, pretty much following up these performances with, maybe not exactly this bad, but pretty similar, he's not going to be the for sure number one guy going into next year. And then you just look at the young talent on this team, there's really not a lot. So, yeah, thanks for having me on. Just interested to hear what you guys think.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why I think there's going to be some if that occurs, well, first of all, if that occurs with McCarthy, you've got problems. Like if he continues to play like he did today for the rest of the season and he's playing, it's not a slam dunk that he keeps the job. But that's my point about the finger pointing, because there is a lack of draft picks, right? Like there is a lack of, because in 2024 in March, you went out and signed this free agent class, arguably one of the best in the franchise history, and you sort of put deodorant on the stink of your draft picks. Well, unfortunately for the Vikings, 2025, they spent way more than that, and it didn't work out. So, like this is, McCarthy is at the focal point of this discussion, but believe me, there's going to be other discussions, because the lack of good young talent goes way beyond a quarterback talk. It goes into the heart of your drafting your franchise.
Well, and that's I think there's sort of two paths. There's if he looks maybe not quite this bad, but if it just doesn't look good in 8 games from now as you go into the end of the season, that's a huge franchise philosophical discussion you have to have, right? But either way, you do have, I think it's going to be 10 draft picks in 2026. Who do you want? And you could talk yourself into, let's say he plays a little better and you feel like at the end of the year, okay, there's a little something there. That was rocky for a bit, but there's a little something there, and he's on a rookie scale deal for 3 more years, and you got 10 draft picks coming up here in this upcoming 2026 draft. You can start to add young pieces around as some of the old guys age out. Okay, you can build something here. Well, do you trust the current setup for drafting with those 10 picks right now, as currently constructed with Kwesi and Ryan Grigson? Nice to see Dallas Turner have a couple flashes today. That's moving the needle in the right direction. But yeah, this is going to be a juicy next 2.5 months or so for this franchise.
Let's go to Cole next year on Vent Line. What's up, Cole?
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yep,
we got you, man. Yeah, hey, Cole.
Sweet, awesome. Thanks for letting me come in. Been a long-time listener. Just a few points that I had written down from the game. Kwesi, one, needs to be fired if he can't draft a running back, DB, and center in the next draft, and they all need to be contributors, because those guys can all be found not in the first round. And you saw it today from the Bears. Their guy, Monungai, was a 6th-round running back, and he was kind of tearing us up a little bit. Other point is TJ Hawkinson. When we brought him in, I believe we did it because he was known as a yak guy. In my opinion, he has not been doing that for the last few years since we brought him in. And yeah, he's just kind of, I think we got to get rid of him. Too much to pay him for next year. And then also, how long do you guys think that we should be, waiting before we freak out on these JJ inaccurate balls? Because some of them are pretty bad. And I like the kid. I want him to be good, but some of them are pretty bad.
Yeah. And by the way, yeah, on the accuracy thing, it's not all pressure. There's a couple things where, okay, there's pressure, maybe the pocket starts to collapse, but some of that is also, you've got to either get rid of the ball a little quicker or take a step to the right or left. There's some quarterback management stuff in there.
Oh yeah. But
what disturbs me the most is the pocket was clean for JJ McCarthy a lot today. In fact, PFF on the fly tracked 75% of those dropbacks were clean pocket dropbacks, and he was 50% completions only on the clean pocket dropbacks. Yeah. That's terrible.
He also has, instead of sliding around the pocket at least, or instead of like stepping up, which is sort of a subtle thing but very effective, the only comparison I can make is he looks like a guy throwing a shot put. He gets a running start, and that's the ball sales. It's like that's why the ball is sailing. Like this is a subtle like nuance thing. The pocket is sacred. You like slide around in there, and he literally is running. The other thing too is because I kept an eye on this. There were Jefferson passes and non-throws to him today where I can tell you the Bears didn't have 11 guys on Justin, okay? So, like, this whole thing, I feel like we've built up this narrative of, well, he's never open. Like, he's just never open. They've slid 18 guys. They're bringing guys off the bench, right?
Yeah.
There was one where I think he threw the ball. In fact, it was the Hawkinson drop. He threw the ball to Hawkinson. Now, that's a bad drop. That's on the tight end, not on JJ. But anyway, it was single coverage on the sideline. 18 was beyond
The fourth down,
Hawkinson.
you're talking about?
No. It was I think it was first half. I don't think. The first drop where he had the ball, he should have. It wasn't a perfect throw, but it should have been caught. But anyway, Justin Jefferson's open, like he's in single coverage. And the other thing is, go back and look at the balls that fly over Justin's head. JJ's not avoiding defenders there. He's literally airmailing the ball.
Yeah, and there were I think there were credited 5 drops in this game, and there was the Addison drops were bad. Those were two really bad drops.
Yep, I counted 4, or 5. Yeah, 5's right.
There was a Thielen drop in there that was, but I would say like even on I don't know if they classified. There was a Jefferson one kind of over the middle that went through his hands, but Tom Brady spent a lot of time tactfully criticizing McCarthy for dude, you got to take a little out. That's okay. Jefferson probably should catch that, but you can make it a lot easier in these situations by just not throwing a rocket over the middle. And so, yeah, they're classified as drops, but there's a gray area in there where, all right, it's kind of been preaching this for a couple of years now. When are you going to find a little off-speed pitch in those situations?
Do you recall in training camp, we spent all the training camp talking about the fact that O'Connell was talking about the need to layer the ball in. He remains incapable. He cannot layer a throw in. Everything is a fastball. Some are high, some are low. He's the equivalent of a pitcher with a great arm with zero control of the ball.
Yeah.
Sam DeDuno.
Yeah. That's a great obscure. I bet you even 90% of the Score North Twin Show listeners don't even know who Sam DeDuno is, but love that reference. All right, let's go back to the therapy session here, Dex. Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, let's go up to Colin next year on Vikings Vent Line.
Colin, hey, how we doing, guys?
Hey,
good, man.
Oh, man, I don't even know what to say. This is just so up and down. But just a couple things I wrote down here, and this was mostly before JJ had that like kind of comeback drive. Looking at it, like talking a lot of friends who aren't Vikings fans are like, hey, you know, look at Peyton Manning. He had a bad first season. He had 12 interceptions in his first 5 games. And yeah, I mean, it's just tough watching that game. He was so inaccurate. And I'm not like, I think he's going to do well. I think once he starts learning, the game's looking really quick to him right now too, what I've noticed. He's like looking all over the field, like, and trying to get it in there. But I want to give one hot take here though, because of his inaccuracies today. I think that if JJ was healthy for the whole season, he would have had the most interceptions by a rookie quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Wow. Slinging the tape.
That might not be hot. Yeah. That might just be factual.
I know some people are going to flame me in the comments, but that's just, I averaged it out. And if you multiply like his games, he's got 5 games. He times his interceptions by 5. That's 40. So that would be the second most in NFL history.
So let me see here, just for fun, because the Pro Football Reference has interception percentage, like just a percentage of your attempts. So going into the game today, his interception rate, his sack rate was 12, which is really bad. His interception rate was 6%. So let's say he throws the ball, let's like 650 times would be like a full workload in a season. 650 times 0.056. That'd be 37 interceptions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a factual take from Colin. It's really bad.
But
Colin,
thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
good stuff,
thank you
Colin.
That's a 1970s Bradshaw-like stat. That's Namath. Tarkington in 78.
And it goes up today, right? Because it was it's 2 more.
Two more.
By the way, the one that wasn't was probably the worst of the throws too, because it was. I mean, his arm kind of banged off a helmet, but like you see that coming at you, even out of your peripheral, and there's no way you're going to get a follow through on that throw. and they were lucky. So, all right, before we get back to the therapy session here, boys, a shout out to MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning for, at the very least, even if your football team can't win, your HVAC system can win with MSP Plumbing.
No
Heating,
doubt
and Air
about that. Hey, look, I've been talking about that part, the HVAC part, for a long time. So let me tell you, when it comes to MSP, let's switch it up to the plumbing angle, because right now MSP is offering, get this, a free camera inspection for your drains if you mention either my name, Sports Dad, that's Judd, Judd, or Purple
That's
Daily.
Capital SPORTS.
Yep, I'm your Sports Dad. If you are dealing with persistent clogs in those drains, slow draining sinks or toilets, or you are in an older house, a free inspection now can avoid very expensive issues in the future. Also, MSP continues to do fantastic work in the community. Get this, their HVAC and plumbing technicians are collecting non-perishable food donations during their visits. It's a great way to give back this time of year. For info on setting up a visit, go to their website, call MSP.com, give them a call, 651-615-4292. MSP also your local carrier dealer, so check them out for their carrier products.
I want you, Sports Dad, to just put a pin in this comment here. Secrets Q100. Now can we say fire O'Connell because he picked McCarthy? I just want to put a pin in that for a second. Well, I put a pin in this bottle of Pendleton whiskey right here.
Yeah.
So, they were spreading joy, Pendleton, before this game because they brought Bears and Vikings fans together for a Pendleton Friendsgiving gathering. And I had a couple friends send pictures from the gathering on the plaza, and everyone had a great time, it feels like. So at least people had fun with the Pendleton Friendsgiving gathering. But with Pendleton whiskey, it's not just poured, it's earned. Pendleton is the whiskey you want for your Vikings game days, a proud partner of the Minnesota Vikings. They have you go stop into a liquor store, and if your liquor store for some reason doesn't have these bottles, maybe ask to talk to the manager. But they've got these 10-year stadium anniversary limited edition Vikings-themed bottles here that are pretty cool. So Pendleton whiskey, like I said, not just poured, it's earned. 2025 Pendleton Distillers, ProximoSpirits.com. Please drink responsibly. Underdog also powering these post-game takes here today, Dex.
That's right. Go to the Underdog app. In fact, I got another screenshot today from a listener who won like 25 times their money, which is awesome. At Underdog, you can ride higher or lower on a variety of different football options like touchdowns, receiving yards, maybe interceptions for a certain Vikings quarterback. There's plenty of different options at Underdog. Sign up promo code SCORE, and when you play your first $5, you get $100 in bonus entries too. So keep sending me those wins, and if you haven't already, go sign up, download the Underdog app, and sign up with promo code SCORE.
Okay, off that comment that we put a pin in there, just I know we're all kind of guessing, maybe educated speculation here, but to what extent do you think J.J. McCarthy was Kevin O'Connell's, from the get-go, hand-picked guy to be the 10-year quarterback for this franchise?
Well, I mean,
2 years ago.
I think we sort of know this, is that he wanted Drake May. They couldn't trade up to get Drake May. It's a very smart move by the Patriots not to trade Drake May. But, I mean, I think he bears a ton of the responsibility for agreeing or saying, hey, that's a quarterback I can work with. So I think he, to a large degree, like I don't think, and I know there's disagreement about this, I don't think Kwesi and Grigson went rogue on the head coach who's a quarterback guy and said, no, we're taking this guy, screw you. Now, do I think that there were conversations about the best way to proceed and bringing back Darnold and the possibility there, or Jones, who I think that they did try to get back? Absolutely. But I think Kevin O'Connell bears a lot of the responsibility. But that's why I think J.J. McCarthy, and I know people don't like this, I think he needs to play because we need to, I can't answer that question yet. Like, is this kid a kid that cannot hit the broadside of a barn for the rest of his career? Is he arm-wise Josh Allen, who they finally fixed and became really good? We don't know yet. So, Vikings fans, hear me out here, okay? I know we love to pull the plug on QBs, and a lot of them have deserved it. But this franchise has been littered with veterans who are basically near the age of putting on depends because we don't have the patience, because nobody has the patience. And so that's why I think he needs, at the minimum, the rest of the season. And I know no one's going to want to hear this, including the Wilfs. I don't think the premium can be on, well, can you make a playoff push still?
Oh, for this year?
Yeah. I think you should just accept it. No, you can't. That's okay. So, unfortunately, look, the free agent's not working out like you wanted is another story. Like, to to your point, Phil, I think that's a different chapter, a different bin. Like, that is concerning that those guys did not work out. But as far as McCarthy, we need to find out, was today like part of the pattern and part of the learning experience, or was today indicative of what you're going to see for the rest of the season? If it is, you need to have some very difficult discussions in your exit meetings. But I'm not willing to fire O'Connell right now with 7 games left, 8 games left.
Oh, I don't think in season.
Okay,
firing
but I'm saying make a decision. Like, should he be fired in March or I'm sorry, January?
He's not.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you need to now say, we lost this game. Our season's basically done as far as playoffs go. We need to continue to play him. And what are you going to do? Play Max Brosmer? I know we talk about Max. And look, I was for starting Max above Wentz because Wentz was going to take you nowhere. You need to find out.
Who do you think is a better NFL starting quarterback right now, Max Brosmer or J.J. McCarthy?
J.J. McCarthy.
J.J.
McCarthy.
I mean, I've never seen Max Brosmer play a game. I've seen play college games.
I think Max Brosmer can complete some passes. I think JJ unquestionably has a higher upside than Max Brosmer, which is why he went number 10 overall and Brosmer was undrafted. But I think part of the frustration here is like there's some pretty basic stuff that's being missed on that field. And I do think Max Brosmer being like 4 years older would hit some of those basic things. But again, you'd be leaning into like a short-term stopgap. Right. Maybe, by the way, he's an undrafted rookie. But I'm with you. Like, this is who has the stomach for this? This is long term, and we're kind of even curbing it by saying, well, let's see the rest of the year. Even that is probably not enough time to figure this out because a lot of his problems, McCarthy's, might have to be ironed out in the off season with a bunch of exhaustive footwork and mechanical things.
If it doesn't improve, if we see today repeated for basically the remainder of the season, I'm not saying you cut him, but I think you definitely have to bring in a veteran then and say, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board at some point here. I think that's what they'll say. But I've got to see this. Like, who the hell knows?
I actually have no interest in next year it's going to be a T-Jack Gus Frerotte situation where you got your young quarterback, but you don't believe in him quite as much. So bring in like the 42nd best quarterback in the league, whoever the next Joe Flacco is. I would prefer that they either commit mostly all in to McCarthy again in 2026, or, hey, if you don't have the stomach for it, that's fine. Go find the next Sam Darnold then. Is there a guy that you can buy? If I want them to pick a direction that Kevin O'Connell feels like, and I'm
not sure they will.
I would wonder, does he just prefer working with more veteran senior quarterbacks who, even if they haven't succeeded much like Darnold, know the league, they know coverages, they know defenses, all that stuff?
I'll say it again. If that's the case, do you just call the Chargers?
Why would they trade? I know they got smoked today, but why would they trade Herbert now, though?
I'm just saying, do you just at least call them?
Well,
they already got shot down.
Let's call the Bengals then. Let's call. I mean, you can. I think you make it argument for everywhere.
Okay.
Well, no, call the Chiefs. You might as well just call them all.
Call the Chiefs.
Well,
call the Bills. Call the Ravens.
Justin Herbert's resume includes no Super Bowls. Burrow's been to one. Mahomes keeps going to them. I'm saying, do you explore trying to fix the problem by spending big and trying to make a significant deal?
Well, you already were shot down, according to Adam Schefter's sources and the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line, on that exact speculative topic.
Two years ago, right?
But would I rather have Justin Herbert right now or J.J. McCarthy for $50 million or J.J. McCarthy? Like, I'll take Justin Herbert. I'll take Justin Herbert, of course.
And if the Chargers go to the playoffs and make a playoff run, then that's a dead on arrival idea. I'm just saying, if they go to the playoffs and get bounced in the first round again, or it doesn't end great, I at least pick up the phone again if I don't have the stomach for it. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I don't think the Wilfs do. I do not think the Wilfs have the stomach for this.
So wild.
They never have. So it's 20 years now? 2005? Yeah, it's 20 years. Why would they all of a sudden have the stomach to do something?
But if they didn't have the stomach for it, then why would they let Sam Darnold walk out the door when they could have paid him half of what the top of the market is?
Because they were told it would work. Got to remember, they go out and sign all those veterans, and they're told, we will thread the needle for you, Ziggy and Mark.
We thought we were going to get something a little closer to Sam Darnold level quarterback.
That's why some people's jobs, I don't think the head coaches, but that's why some people's jobs might be on the line. I'm saying I'm with you, dude. The coming months could be so interesting.
Yeah. Okay, back to the vent lines here. Dex, who do we got next?
Yeah, let's go to Mitchell next year. Hey, Mitchell.
Hey,
What's up, man?
guys?
Hi, guys.
This is my mom. She's a Cowboys fan.
Hey.
All
And
right, welcome in.
most Vikings she's ever watched in her life this season. Because I have her come over to my house to watch football every Sunday, which is pretty awesome.
Wow.
So I want to get her perspective, but I want to pump the brakes a little bit here. I think we need to play more into J.J. McCarthy's strengths. I'm still seeing way too many deep passes, which he's not good at yet. He doesn't have the accuracy. And you look at that last drive, man. Short passes, nice screenplays. They're moving the ball really well. And we need to start the games out like that and just building momentum for McCarthy. Let him get comfortable. Let him get some nice hits in there. And let's try for the deep ball after he got that going. I'll let my mom give her a take because see what she's been seeing.
I just wanted to say that as a non-Viking fan and watching JJ come into the NFL as a 22-year-old and being injured in week 2 of the season, I noticed fans really kind of hating on him after 3 quarters of the football game. And I feel like his potential is really there, and I would like to see more support for him and just kind of, instead of throwing in the towel and already talk about, maybe bringing back Sam Darnold or whatever. And today, at the end of the game, I feel like he was able to throw some short passes, which were effective, and also pass the ball and to Jordan Mason, who's really good. And his average last year with the 49ers was, I think, 5.2 yards per carry. And I would like to see the Vikings utilize Mason a little more too.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Appreciate and the Cowboys chilling today until tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Thank you guys for jumping in. Yeah, I mean, just back to the initial kind of playing to McCarthy's strengths. The problem is his main strength right now. He has 2 main strengths right now. Number 1, handing the ball off, and number 2, rising up when either early on during the scripted plays or like at the end of the game, he has sort of locked it in a couple times. But I didn't feel like they were asking him to do a bunch of crazy stuff. There was a couple things here and there. They once again passed a couple more times on 3rd and short, and so now they have now called 16 pass plays on 3rd or 4th and short with McCarthy this year, have yet to complete a pass, and we are headed toward Thanksgiving here. But it's not like he has all these hidden strengths that you just haven't played to yet. He doesn't have enough strengths yet. At some point, you hope that he will be more accurate and will be able to do more of this in bulk over 3 hours. So,
yeah, I don't think the play calling today was a problem. Like, I just don't. I think it was against Baltimore. I think today, you could switch some things around, but like define a deep pass too. Like there were some throws. I mean, he was overshooting guys on throws that were probably 15 yards. I don't consider that to be really deep. So, yeah, I don't find a lot of fault with the head coach today. I think the quarterback, for the most part of an entire game, melted down. I mean, he didn't have a completion until the last drive of the 4th quarter in the second half.
It was brutal. Yep. All right, Dex, back to the vent lines here.
Yeah, I think Connor is are you in a deer stand right now, Connor?
Yes, I am.
Are you allowed to give a take, or like is this
I'm
able to do so?
I'm gonna try to be quiet, but can you guys hear me good?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought J.J. McCarthy, did good. Obviously, those short passes at the end, and I don't think he should be allowed to even throw over 30 yards until he doesn't throw a non-incompletion game. And but other than that, I thought the play calling was good. A lot of drop passes, so that wasn't great either. But yeah.
Yeah. How long are you going to be in that deer stand?
Probably for another hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see anything out there yet? You hear anything?
Not yet. I saw some yesterday, but trying to find that big buck,
Just don't drop the buck, Don't drop the ball. You gotta actually hit it, just like McCarthy, and just like
the joke would be the accuracy portion of the shooting there.
Yeah.
One shot and it'll be down for sure.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Thanks, Connor.
All right, Connor. Appreciate it, man. All right, let's keep going here. Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to Luke. Luke, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, great to be on for the first time. I feel like when we talk about these quarterbacks who have had a similar sort of rocky start to what McCarthy is going through, the thing that we overlook is the things that this team has put around him to put him in the best possible situation. Peyton Manning was like the first overall pick, right? When he threw 17 interceptions, JJ McCarthy has the best receiver in the NFL. Jordan Addison, one of the best wide receiver twos. I know that TJ Hawkinson has been disappointing, but today the O-line was great. Today the play calling was, I thought, good. I didn't see any problems with it. The defense was incredible, but they played 15 more minutes than the Bears defense did. And what do you expect them to do at the end of the game when they have to be on the field the whole stinking time? And then, of course, I know the defense isn't the same as the special teams, but like you're giving up a giant kick return. Well, a lot of those players are defensive players, and they're gassed. They've been ran through the dirt the whole stinking game because McCarthy is going 3 and out every single time he's on the field. I get that he played well at the end, but when you play well at the end, the rest of the game still matters. Everything leading up to that moment still matters, and then you give up a field goal to lose. And it's the thing that has been coming this whole time when he's had these good last little second things. It's what's been coming to him. I mean, Justin Jefferson is too good to average 50 yards a game. He's too good for that. And even Nick Mullins was throwing him more than that. And Nick Mullins is terrible. Nick Mullins was throwing interceptions, but he was still getting Jefferson the ball. And AJ can't even get Jefferson the ball. Everyone can get Jefferson the ball. It's ridiculous.
Can we make Luke our crybaby Craig's hot caller of the day?
I'm good
Luke,
with that,
Luke,
man.
do you like hot sauce, Luke?
Yeah.
Hot sauce guy? Okay. Crybaby Craig's. We're gonna send you a prize pack from our friends at Crybaby Craig's. You're gonna get the gourmet hot sauce, the honey hot sauce, the cheesy pow pow powder, a branded sweatshirt, a coffee mug for the great spiciness that you just brought to the show. Luke, just email me some of your information, like your name, your address, your hoodie size as well, and we'll have our team follow up with you. And for anyone else out there looking for some nice hot sauce here, go to crybabycraigs.com. You can find them too in your local liquor store or local grocery store, and maybe in your liquor store. It might be
awesome. Actually, it'd be
probably
sweet.
could be. PD10 for 10% off at Crybaby Craig's, and again, you can find it in most major grocery stores too. Great stuff there from Luke. We're gonna hook you up with a prize pack from our friends at Crybaby Craig's. Good stuff, Luke.
Awesome, Luke.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
To Luke's point, time of possession for the Bears, 36:59. For the Vikings, 23:01. Offensive plays run, 73-54. So this is the second consecutive week.
20 more plays.
Luke's exactly right. This is the second consecutive week that the defense, which I think has played fine, I have no complaints, has been left out there. Like you can't I disagree with him a little bit on special teams. Like, do your freaking job there. But on defense, he's exactly right. You wear these guys down to a complete nub. You cannot do this. You need to hold the ball. A week ago, I said, well, part of the problem is you're passing so much, and it's not working. I told you guys the run-to-pass ratio today was 32 passes, 22 runs.
Yeah.
So that was a lot more acceptable. But that defense, man, I mean, you are basically asking them to hold up for an entire game, and you're going, and he's right about this too. You're going 3 and out way too much.
Yeah, and the Vikings coming into today were I think only one NFC team had fewer first downs than the Vikings, and that's how offense and defense aren't played in vacuums in the NFL. Like in baseball, they kind of are, and it's like, all right, we're gonna switch it up, but now his pitcher's gonna pitch to their team, and we're gonna try and record 3 outs. In the NFL, if you take a lead, you give your defense an assist because now the other team is more likely to pass and they can pin their ears back. If you keep converting first downs and put together like the Bears did a 15-play, 11 runs on that drive, by the way, Kevin O'Connell would never. Okay, their defense gets to chill and rest. So, like to your point about time of possession too, the Bears defense only had to go to work for 23 minutes today, in part because they were stopping the Vikings, but the Vikings stopped themselves in so many ways too. So, by the way, shout out to North American Banking Company as well before we get back into this therapy session here. 6 locations across the Twin Cities, Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview. I'm blending 2 cities together there. Hastings, Woodbury, and 50th in France. And just in getting to know the fine people at North American Banking Company the last couple of years, I can tell you they're very friendly, knowledgeable people that you're going to wind up building a personal relationship with the people who handle your banking, whatever that might be, checking, savings, or something bigger. Maybe you're looking at buying a home or financing a new business, whatever it is. Personal relationships and cutting-edge online tools are two of the big highlights at North American Banking Company. That's go to nabankcode.com/Mackey, nabankcode.com/Mackey, member FDIC, equal housing lender. And then, boys, Purple Daily is pumped to partner with Menards this football season as your one-stop shop for everything for your car. And that includes FVP brake cleaner. FVP's, so they have a few different kinds. Chlorinated brake cleaner instantly removes oil grease, brake fluid, dust, and grime. Then there's the FVP non-chlorinated brake parts cleaner, 10% VOC, removing debris quickly with no left behind residue. And then there's the 45% VOC version, which quickly dissolves and flushes away brake fluid, oil, grease, and contaminants. So head to Menards and stock up on FVP brake cleaner because performance matters on the road and beyond. Okay. Let's keep rocking here on Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, let's go to Caleb next year. Caleb, what's up,
Here
man?
we are, man. Glad to finally be on. Skull from California.
Right on.
Okay, so I'm going to break it down with all three phases. All right? Special teams. We lost containment at the end. Miles Price had an amazing, I think, return. He held on the ball, protected the rock when it mattered. But at the end, that special teams play at the end is what cost us the game. It set them up automatically to get into field goal range, which cost us the game. Okay? For defense, the backfield tackling on Caleb Williams was just atrocious. We couldn't wrap up. We were there, even lacking Grenard. It was a hard sell. And I just didn't know what it was because I felt like we were there so many times and just couldn't finish. And then Harrison Smith is showing his age, and Metellus. The body, the Tutankhamun, I'm calling it. He's a king tut, throw himself in, couldn't finish it when it mattered most. Wrap him up, man. Hit the midsection, take him down.
Yeah.
Offensively, the drops are killer. McCarthy had ample exceptions to run the ball. And I just wondered what happened, with the runs. And I'm here with my buddy Dima, who's also a Bears fan, watching the game together. And so it was like a tug of war here internally. We have toddlers running around the house doing the gritty when it wasn't necessarily necessary, but it was just like you wonder what was going on. And McCarthy wasn't layering the throws. It was a speed ball all game long to where it was just too fast, too hot. You had Aaron Jones, Hawkinson, McCarthy, Jefferson, your top guys, right? They just couldn't come down with it at the end. And so you wonder what happened. I don't know. It was like a par for the course, I guess, in terms of the season. Maybe my buddy Demo with the Bears could give some insight, but
I guess from the Bears' perspective, and thanks for having me on the show, but I appreciate the win, but man, it was a rough game, and frankly, I think both teams have a lot to improve on across the board if we want to be competitive with the Lions when it comes to the playoffs and those like the really top teams in the NFL. So we'll see what the future holds for both of our franchises. Like I said, happy for the win, but man, it was a rough one, and frankly, Bears won. Bears were kind of lucky to win this game too, despite all the Vikings mistakes that have been mentioned on the show so far. It really has come down to that return in the end, and we cannot rely on that either. So I think, frankly, both teams have a lot to improve on and a lot to think about.
Yeah,
I agree.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Yeah,
I agree completely with that. Ben Johnson is a really good play caller, but as a head coach of a game itself, he's got a long way to go. Long way to go. There were time periods there where they were running the ball like butter, like hot butter, man. And he decided to switch to a pass.
It was kind of wild, man.
It's like, dude, what are you doing?
they ran the ball 39 times in that game, and it felt like probably should have run it like 6 or 7 more times. It wasn't.
Yes, exactly.
Their long was only 16. It was a Caleb Williams scramble. It was kind of just like 5, 8. It was these cut, and the Vikings are the same way. The Vikings had a good day on the ground, but so both teams combined for 22 plus. There's like 61 rushing attempts. The long run in the game was 16 yards by Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
It was gash, cut, slice. There was no big home runs, but both teams were effective on the ground.
I think the problem is you've got 2 head coaches here who love to pass the ball and love to like use their schemes, their schematics. And it's like, you want to tell them, guys, this is an ugly game today, so just go along with it. Like, you don't need style. You don't get style points. The last time I checked, there's no SP, wins, losses, ties, style points. Style points don't exist. So just win the game however you have to, and that often includes eating the clock. Anyway, I digress.
All right, Dex, back to the therapy session here, Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, let's go to David next year. Hey, David, you're on Vikings
What's up,
Vent Line.
gentlemen?
Hey, man.
My problem is with the game. McCarthy's he's 22. I think we need to I don't think you need to bench him for full games, but I think when he's just completely off and you got Jefferson yelling at him on the sideline or in the middle of the game like he was last week, why not just bench him? Show him that, hey, if you're going to be off, bro, there's consequences. I mean, the Bears gave us every opportunity to win that game. I'm all for giving the guy the chance throughout the season, but when he's missing 90% of his throws and we're giving opportunities to win the game in a division that we're still in. KOC's,
But are you okay? But David,
What's up?
So you're going to bench him because you're mad, or are you benching him because that's the right thing to do for his development, or do you not care about his development?
No, for his development, 100%. Because at what point is this hurting him by letting your captain, your best wide receiver on the team, yell at him and throw a fit and stop running after interceptions like we saw last game? At what point is that messing him up and messing with his mental? So,
I feel like telling him after 4.5 games that, hey man, we're not going to let you work through anything. This is how short your leash is more likely to wreck him than letting him go through it. You've committed to this as a franchise. If you then start benching him after 4.5 games, 2.5 years into this process, then just bail. Then just bail on the whole thing anyways and be decisive on a new path. Then try with Max Brosmer and see how that goes. That's my take. I feel like you're saying, hey, Jefferson being happy is the most important thing. And maybe that's the most important thing for winning because you've paid him so much money. And if that's the case, then don't throw a 22-year-old quarterback out there in the first place. That's where I'm coming from.
No, I agree. I just think that if he doesn't have it in a game, he doesn't have it. Why are we going to keep just throwing the ball? The last 2 weeks we've seen 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and 3, 4th and 3. Today we saw we started off the drive with an 8-yard rush with Aaron Jones, and then we passed it on 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 2 and don't complete one of them. So it's just like, why are we just going to keep doing the same thing every week and expecting a different outcome when JJ showed us he's just not ready right now? I'm not saying he's not our guy in the future, but right now we're just wasting games, we're wasting effort, we're wasting talent on the field, we're risking injuries for a guy that's not even putting the ball close for anybody to catch it.
Yeah, David, appreciate
that's just my
you,
take,
man.
boys.
Thanks for coming in, dude. Appreciate it. I wanted to poke at that because I feel like if you decide now after all this, we're going to bench him in the second half of this game. That is going to you're telling him you don't get to work through this. So the next time we put you in, if you sail a couple passes, you better think twice before you even throw it. Now you're really screwing with a guy's mental makeup. So you're either on or you're off the roller coaster of developing a quarterback.
So I'm seeing comments here, and I think that this is going to be a subject that's going to come up. So I think that we should address it quickly here. Is people think that the KO screwed up the clock management because they think that the Vikings scored too quickly and should have tried to eat more time before scoring. But I'm going to tell you this. That's, again, where you've got a young quarterback who's rolling, who's been awful all day. Are you really in a position to, slow his roll and be like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to, with a veteran?
This now.
With a veteran? Oh, yeah, definitely, 100%. Slow it.
You can't pick and choose when he's accurate today.
Right. But
if
you're on
he wants to find Addison for a touchdown or there's a mystery box, I'll take the touchdown and deal with the defensive stand coming up.
I totally get the criticism. I just don't think it can apply here. I don't think that he can chime into JJ's earpiece and say, let's slow it down now.
To his point, to David's main point, do you think JJ McCarthy should be, like, in the next few weeks when he has bad halves or bad quarters or he's inaccurate, do you think that he should be pulled from a game because of that?
No.
For Max Brosmer?
No, I think you should play him. No,
I did too.
I
Just
think
play. Go. You're 4-6. Play.
If you want to talk about this when the regular season is done, okay, we can talk about it. Like, it might be premature at that point to bench him, but I'm going to say this. If things don't improve at all from today, there is a discussion about not playing him in 2026. But no, you cannot. And, like, okay, so you're going to put Brosmer, who, God bless him, and I think he does have talent, is a UDFA. You're going to put him in to what end? Like, you're not going to make the playoffs now. Like I hate to say this, but I am willing to sacrifice wins for the rest of 2025 to find out what you have here. And you cannot do that by, like, yo-yoing the kid and saying, bad half, sit down, son, now you're back. And yes, the Jefferson thing is far from optimal, but you cannot worry about Justin Jefferson's mood, who, by the way, is being very well paid to work for you. You cannot say, well, we're doing him wrong. And can you guarantee me Max Brosmer gets him the ball more? I don't know.
Yeah. Sonny is not happy
Sonny's
with the level
not happy
of
about it at
quarterback
all.
play or the level of analysis happening on this show.
Sonny's learned.
Yep.
Sonny's learned already. Poor kid. He's like 2 weeks or a month.
Wow.
He's 2 months. 2 months old. Eight weeks today.
How
feels like yesterday.
He was.
I said
You
2
think he was
weeks
a
or a
week?
month. I said 2 weeks or a month. You know what? It feels like yesterday.
2 weeks.
It feels like yesterday he was born.
It does feel, yes.
It
Judd,
feels
does.
like yesterday. You know how quick time goes? See, this is the thing where I'm appreciating it because time is going. Before you know it, that kid will be
Sports
walking
dad.
out the door to college.
What's sage?
And I'll be
advice
like,
for
I thought
sports
you were born like a month ago.
Yeah.
Judd's like a dog. He has no concept of time, but he's a really good companion.
I'm a great companion. I love that.
By the way, we're an hour into this here. Still over 5,000 of you hanging out live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. A little therapy session. Vikings lose 17-19 to the Chicago Bears. If you're new or you haven't already, please click that subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel and the like button on this episode to help us keep spreading the word about what we think is the best Vikings podcast fan community out there. So who's next on Vent Line, Dex?
Yeah, how about some good sage advice here? Good sage advice.
Gentlemen.
That's the name we got.
Bring us,
Long
live up
time.
to your namesake, if you could, please.
I'm doing my absolute best. Hello from California, long-time listener, first-time caller. I break the jersey rule every time because I'm older than everyone on the team, but I've got Harrison jersey on today because it was his 200th game.
Yep.
Go Hitman. So, Dex, really quick, congratulations on being a dad. It's the absolute best thing in the whole wide world.
Best
Travel
2 weeks
as
of his
much-
life here.
Yeah.
Best 2 weeks ever.
Best week and a half. Best week and a half. Listen, that kid's aging quickly. I'm trying to
Groundhog's
slow
Day
it down.
every day.
Sports Dad's trying to slow this down because he knows what happens.
I'll tell you right now, travel as much as you can now because as soon as they can crawl and walk, it's miserable to go anywhere. So travel, jump on an airplane, go, 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 go. So I'm going to rail off a bunch of stuff really quick. I know I don't want to take a bunch of time. So on paper, I'm so tired of thinking about how great this team can be because when they get on the field, they break every single one of my promises that I've thought that they were going to live up to. So I'm done coming into a season thinking to myself, this is going to be amazing because they get on the field and then no one lives up to anything. So this is incredibly frustrating. Special teams were great today until obviously the last play. And you have a chance, and then they break it. Price looked good today, finally, after a couple rough ones. Defense was overworked, but they did great. They need to have more rest, obviously, and they need to wrap up the quarterback when they get back there. That was really hard to see. A bunch of last couple games, a bunch of guys on the ground at the quarterback's feet watching him run away from him instead of wrapping him up and taking him down. JJ, obviously, struggling over receivers' heads. That's really tough to watch. But there's also really bad drops. And I don't know if that ties into their ratings, their quarterback ratings, but Thielen dropped one, Justin dropped one, Hawk dropped one, Addison dropped one. And all those guys are supposedly the sure hand guys that are supposed to be, giving him an outlet that saves the day for him. Not happening. So I feel like at this point, don't have to focus on the playoffs. We can not worry about that anymore at this point. Focus on JJ's development, connecting the team, and, try to build up the rest of this year. And hopefully next year looks a lot better. So we'll see how it goes. Appreciate you guys. You're the best. You keep my world sane because it's a tough one out there. Love you guys, and Skull from California.
Awesome. Good sage advice from California. Appreciate you, man. JJ McCarthy, by the way, was asked about fans, and Judd, you were in there. You can tell us how bad it was, but fans were booing a couple different points after he would like sail a pass on third down.
Loud twice.
Yeah, it got pretty ugly there, and so he was asked about that, and he said, "quote We got the greatest fans in the world. They expect a lot more out of us, rightfully so. It's just a reminder to us that we better get going, better figure this out." So,
it's a reminder to him, I guess, more so than the offense.
Yeah, it is. It's not
about the offense.
This is what we all kind of feared, which is, man, the quarterback can't complete basic passes because he's not there yet, accuracy wise.
And the drops were bad, but I mean, the drops don't, like, we could talk about 5 drops, and certainly that's not a good thing. But at the end of the day, I mean, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn for way too much of this game, and the coach, to at least for a large portion of the second half, sort of abandoned the pass, which he hates to do. So, like, I mean, yeah, there's a lot that has to be figured out, I think, from the quarterback standpoint.
Yeah. All right, Dex, who do you want to pull in here next into the therapy session?
Yeah, Jonathan, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys
doing?
doing?
Good,
man.
Good. So, Declan, I was on with you this summer, and I got a lot of criticism on Quasi, okay? And you know what? I was wrong about that, and just listening to the show and all that stuff. But the question, who knows if Quasi's responsible for this show that is terrible. It's terrible. This is the worst put together team I have ever seen. And here's what I'll say. I did coach North High to 2 championships as the offensive coordinator. I got recruited to go to Breck and coach quarterbacks, right? So I know a little bit about football. I played in college. Tell me how they're putting this together. I mean, the year before, we had Chaz Surratt being picked in the 3rd round. What was it? Kellen Mond, and everyone got angry. Who is putting this thing together? So I'm not going to blame this on J.J. McCarthy. This is not a J.J. McCarthy issue. This is a management issue. This is a much bigger deal. So what's your direction?
Yeah, no, Jonathan, I mean, we're like 2 months away from because they're going to miss the playoffs. And Judd has been on this for the last few weeks, which is January and February could get real interesting inside that building because ownership didn't pay this much money for this many veterans and contract extensions. The amount of cash being spent over cap, right? Isn't that what they say?
Oh, that's a football-y term right there.
Cash over cap.
There it is, cash over cap.
To be essentially mathematically close to eliminated from the playoffs before Thanksgiving.
Right.
And it's also a fairly patient ownership group. They're not the Jets just making dumbass decisions because their kid plays Madden, they'll make a thoughtful decision, but yeah, it is. And also 4 years into the O'Connell and Quasi era, if you don't really know what your quarterback situation is, that's another talking point. If you're the ownership, hey, we trusted you guys. You told us. I mean, obviously, we would have paid the money for Darnold or Daniel Jones or whatever. You guys, you're the ones who are making this roster out. What's going on? Why did we go 7-10 again for the second time in 4 years? It was injuries the last time. What was the reason this time? I mean, there's going to be some uncomfortable conversations.
Oh, and there might be some big-time finger pointing, too. I could see that. Just to be fair to the current administration, though, Chaz Surratt and Mond were drafted by Rick Spielman. So, like, Quasi's got a lot of blips here, a lot of demerits in the draft. Those guys were actually the Zimmer-Spielman era.
Jonathan, not to rip caller Jonathan, but he had a really big dartboard of Quasi whiffed draft picks there that he could have thrown that dart at, and he somehow wound up on the Rick Spielman board there. All right, let's go back to the vent lines here, Dax.
Sure. Let's go to Pete. Pete, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, fellas. I'm calling in here from Fargo, North Dakota. And yeah, I was at the game last week. That was pretty disappointing, but you go into this week, and I had higher hopes playing division rival. But yeah, I know we're bashing JJ McCarthy and everything of that sort. But, when you see him be successful at Michigan, he had a very good running back. Do you think that we could I love Aaron Jones, but he's kind of getting older. Jordan Mason's good too, but look at these premier teams in the league that get it figured out. I mean, the Saquon Barkleys and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, this upcoming draft, I want to hear you guys take whether we need to prove it running back or go interior defensive line. That's my question, guys, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, Judd, Pete, thanks for chiming in from Fargo there. What is the number one position? We don't, regardless of like how deep those positions are in the draft, but
sure,
the number one position right now, if you were drafting in the middle to the 12th or 14th pick or something, what position are you looking at?
Oh boy, that's there's a lot of them right now too, because keep in mind too, you've got, I think we brought this up before, an aging team as well. But I mean, among the positions, just from a draft perspective, that I think that you need to fill in now because you've not successfully done that are running back for sure. I mean, center. I can't imagine that Ryan Kelly is back with his circumstances, right? Tight end. I mean, I don't think Hawkinson's back.
Yeah,
and I don't see.
You have a tight end problem right now.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Oliver is a very good blocker who can catch some passes. But here's the thing. Did you guys watch Colston Loveland today? I mean,
awesome.
That's a stud. That's a guy. That's a young guy. That guy's a stud. I think there's still some questions about, at the end of the day, about Dallas Turner. I liked his game, but Van Ginkel's had enough injury problems, and he's not young. Linebacker, I think that there's some things there. I mean, Blake Cashman gets hurt a lot. You've got, because you haven't drafted well, I hate to say you guys, but you've got a lot of holes.
Yeah.
You got a lot, but I mean, it's not just like, hey, if they can get a stud running back, they are set, right?
Yeah.
You got a lot of holes here, boys.
That's pretty much half the positions. You're not wrong. Yeah, you're definitely.
And I
not,
could keep going. Cornerback,
you're
not exactly stacked at cornerback. Safety, Harrison Smith going to retire. I also think one thing I think that we have seen now that needs to change, Josh Metellus needs to play his previous role. Yeah. Have you noticed it feels like the more he plays a traditional safety, the less effective? I don't think he's a safety. I think he's a hybrid. And I think he's a guy that needs to play near the line of scrimmage. And if he plays safety, I don't think it works. And you know what? I think we all signed off on this, but I would now in retrospect say all of us were wrong. Cam Bynum walking out the door, a far bigger deal than I thought.
It was a big deal. Yeah.
And I didn't really talk about it at the time or criticize it. But like when you see what that dude brings from, because he's a hybrid corner and safety, and what he's done with the Colts, we probably should have focused on that when they were signing veterans, and we didn't, or at least I didn't for sure.
Well, it's more glaring because, Ryan Kelly has barely played because of concussions. So there's a couple guys you could poke at now and say, well, wouldn't that money been better spent on just, Cam Bynum coming back? So,
yep.
All right, Dex, the therapy session moves on here on Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to Eli. Yo, Eli, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
How you doing, sir? Let's get straight to football facts right now. There's a lot of talking that needs to get addressed, and I want KOC to see this. You cannot be playing football and claim to be the quarterback whisperer if you have no quarterback. You could have had Sam Darnold. You could have easily then had J.J. McCarthy be his co-star if needed to come in. Nobody would have pointed the finger. But this entire season, Brian Flores has carried the Vikings. You cannot start a season and have any other defense play as hype as they've been playing and not get the offensive production. So think about it. Judd said it earlier. It was almost 15 minutes of possession time. That is credit to the defense. They did it against Lamar Jackson. They did it again against another elusive quarterback and Caleb Williams. We let Caleb Williams win again when he did nothing. Back-to-back field goals, the kickers doing the gritty. JJ, Jetta, however you want to phrase it, he can have a couple bad games because he's been so patient. He's been patient, but when will KOC realize that patience and that diva, could KOC deal with that type of behavior? Could he deal with an A.J. Brown? I don't believe so. I don't want to hear we don't need a defensive coach because you can go find an offensive coordinator. Wes Phillips, I will say this. He can't be doing much worse than KOC, could he? I'd rather have McDaniels from the Dolphins calling plays at this point. You don't want to give Brian Flores the job. That's fine. But where are we going to get a quarterback? I say go get Kyler Murray. You trying to tell me? Think about it. Like, you trying to tell me that wouldn't be a nice option play? You in that 2-minute options of that missed field goal. You telling me Kyler Murray stepping on the field with the organization behind him? You'd rather have JJ McCarthy throwing injury balls that was happening when we had J Dobbs out there? There's a lot of things that need to be looked at a football perspective. Shout out to just a couple more people because I get people want to come out here. I got my big dog out here too. Bring big dogs back.
Oh,
all these little dogs out there. Bring big dogs back. All these dogs in purses.
Awesome.
Let's get back to the main things of defense. Wilson, he's a great player. I love the sign. Obviously, we got Redmond. I love the sign. And I agree with you. I do miss Bynum. Metellus and him had a thing, and I think that's why he's not playing so well. Harrison Smith. I think Metellus knows he's gone next year. So it's hard to play that on defense when you know your offense isn't going to score. Gentlemen, I love what you're doing. I just want you guys to get more on the KOC and realize that there's a lot of coaches that would be doing a lot more with what we got right now. My last hot take, because there should be a segment before we die, but I will say that Kirk Cousins will end his career as a Viking.
Oh, wow.
Let's go.
Wow, Eli coming in hot. Love it, dude. Eli. Kirk Cousins update.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. Michael Penix got hurt.
I believe. I don't know what happened, but he got hurt.
Okay, so he got hurt.
Yep.
He comes out of the game. The Panthers and the Falcons, where the Panthers made a comeback in the second half. Cousins wound up coming in the second half, they went to overtime with the Panthers. 6 of 14 for 48 yards, 3.4 yards per attempt for old Kirky boy, and a 52 passer rating. Bryce Young, 448 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks in an overtime win over the Falcons. The Panthers. This is how life in the NFL. Life comes at you fast in the NFL. A few months ago or a year ago, you would have said Vikings and Panthers. How wide of a gap is there? Almost as wide as, not quite as wide as like the Eagles and the Panthers, but pretty wide gap. Well, the Vikings are 4-6, have no idea what they have at quarterback. The Panthers are 6-5 with a path to like 9 or 10 wins and maybe getting into the playoffs, and had a breakout performance. They've been patient, word of the day, with Bryce Young.
They weren't for a while.
They weren't. They kind of bailed there last year.
Poor Dalton got in that car crash, and it basically saved Bryce Young.
Yeah. All right, back to the vent lines here, Dex.
Yeah, let's go to AJ. AJ, what's up, man? You are on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. So, look, I had my 22 jersey on. I took it off. Was not happy with him today, but obviously a great career, so it is what it is. We'll miss him next year. I'm not bailing on anybody. KOC is a good coach. JJ McCarthy's probably going to be okay. It's just going to take some time. We really do need to figure out the rest of this season what we're doing in the draft next year. We have lots of picks, but we keep missing on them, and we can't keep doing that. Like, next year is not going to be, let's go buy everybody. We don't have any money left, right? So we got to draft. We have to figure that out. That's what we need to be figuring out now, right? Is who do we draft to fill all of these holes? Because if we don't do something to fill these holes with young people, it's just going to get uglier and uglier. And it isn't going to matter if JJ gets better, because the team is just going to regress underneath him. So that's where I think we got to go figure some stuff out, right? We got to fill some holes with some young people who can actually play, right? They got to play next year because we're losing a lot of old people in the next year or two. We got to fill those holes with drafts. So that's what I got.
Yeah.
Skull
Thanks,
Vikings.
Yeah, man.
Just looking forward to watching JJ get a little better every week for the rest of the year.
Yeah, AJ, thanks for jumping in. He's gotten worse the last 3 weeks, unfortunately. So maybe he can go back the other way. Let's keep going here on Vikings Vent Line Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Hey, Anders, what's up, man? You are on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey guys, can you hear me all right?
Yes,
yeah, we got you, man.
So I'm not here to talk about
how pretty the game looked. Everyone knows it was bad. I don't disagree, but I am here to bring a little bit of purple positivity, which may or may not actually be positivity. But as we lined up to watch the Bears kick that game-winning field goal, I was saying, you know, this is actually the best possible outcome. I don't care if the Bears won that game, because I think the Vikings losing was the best outcome given that game. You got your development for McCarthy. You got experience, interceptions, some good, some bad. We saw 9 come out in the fourth quarter, debatably. Got the comeback. And then we're going to get a better draft pick. Kevin O'Connell can forget about trying this season and just focus on developing McCarthy. So I think the loss today was the best possible outcome.
Wow.
Good take.
Okay. Anders, or Anders? Anders, we're going to go. Anders? Okay, right on. Yeah, I know that Judd's getting there now. I feel like, and I might be there too, which is losses wouldn't be the worst thing this point going forward.
Yeah, I said last week that if they lose this game, it allows you to pick a path, which is we're just going to develop the kid. Like the oh my God, we got to win this game, and then we got to win that game, and how do we torture a win from this is now basically gone. Because I don't expect like a 5-game win streak. So yeah, no, I am there, and I think you play them. I think you just keep playing them, and you learn as much as you possibly can, and then when it's all said and done, you make a decision. And quite frankly, if it does cost some people their jobs, I don't care. Like, what's most important is you need to learn this. So, like, if at the end of the day they pick Ryan Grigson to fire or Kwesi to fire, I'm fine with that. But you need to learn what you have and don't have here. And putting somebody in now, like, oh my God, we got to go sign, which they're not going to, but oh my God, let's just start Brosmer for the sake of starting Max. You're not a playoff team. You're not a playoff team. And to be clear, I don't believe either team deserved to win today, but the Vikings sure as hell did not deserve to win.
No.
So it's not like this really tough loss of, oh my God, it was another winnable game, yes. But you know what? This league is full of those. And you know what you've done? You've lost the majority of games like that. And you are now, if I'm not mistaken, boys, 1-4 at home.
Yeah, that's
another thing.
Brutal, man. Like, there have been like the occasional bad Vikings team that just loses a bunch of games home and away. For a presumptively like competitive Vikings team to be this bad at home is pretty wild.
Yes, sir.
Pretty wild. Who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Nikki next year. Hey, Nikki, what's up? You're on Vikings
Hi.
Vent Line.
What's up, Nikki?
Hi. All I wanted to say was I agree with you guys about letting him develop and stuff, because we got to let him develop. Like Drake May last year, he sucked. Peyton Manning, one of the greats, he sucked his first year. My biggest concern is like with like our wide receivers with Jefferson. Jefferson not a no-go this year, but we're going to be losing like Naylor and Addison probably. How are we going to be able to keep going, have another wide receiver too as good as Addison is?
Yeah, Nikki, thanks for jumping on. Boy, that wide receiver too had 2. He caught the touchdown pass, but he had 2 brutal drops in that game today. Horrible. I don't know what that guy was doing today.
Really bad.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, the one, terrible. Look, the Jefferson thing, I get the frustration from him, and I get the frustration from fans, but he's being very well compensated. And what are you going to do, like right now, if Justin Jefferson comes into O'Connell's office, and he might have, and said, I'm really frustrated by this, man. I am in the prime years of my career. You have to do something. What are you going to do? Okay, we'll start Max Brosmer. Is that going to fix it? No, I don't think it is. So, like, and the thing with Jefferson came as close to melting down as I've ever seen, and I saw this clip going around, but I saw it live. On one of the overthrows, he came to the sideline, and he wanted to spike his helmet, and he wanted to spike it twice, and he didn't. And he just went there and put it down hard. But I think, unfortunately, he's caught in the circumstances, but I don't think there's a quick fix here for him. Sorry.
FYI, I'm seeing this from one reporter. Justin Jefferson did not speak with reporters from the locker room after today's loss. Might be one of the first. I mean, he might have just been really frustrated, but I don't know if he even spoke at his locker or bailed early or what the circumstances were. But he potentially did not even speak today.
he kept himself under wraps, but he was struggling to. And I will say this, on the bench, he went there and he just sat there for long periods of time when the Vikings were on defense, and you could see he was seething, but he's not the type of guy to act out. So, but I mean, again, what are you going to do right now to fix this?
This is the most he's ever kind of gone off the rails. It's certainly not an A.J. Brown situation or Diggs or Moss back in the day. But this last week, the way that he kind of stopped competing on a couple of those plays last week and not chasing after the interceptor, and then the comments about getting back to loving football middle of the week, and then if he didn't speak to reporters, it's very uncharacteristic of him. The frustration, this is the most it's kind of bubbled for him since he's been a Viking. 8 different starting quarterbacks, by the way. So I get it.
But Phil, to go back to our earlier discussion, like if it does not improve and you get to the exit interview process for players, okay? The Jefferson discussion, if it does not improve, I mean, there's going to be a discussion there, right? Because he's going to say, "What's the plan here?" And are you going to say, "Hey, we'll just be patient"? So like this is where like how the Wilfs feel after the season, not right now. How Jefferson feels, like all of this is going to go into a very interesting stew, and this is the problem. Like teams. Like when Sam Darnold stunk, right? And the Jets were a terrible place to play. But at the end of the day, teams pull the plug for a variety of reasons. Owners get impatient. Players get impatient. So like this is going to be very, very tough if it does not improve and improve quickly.
By the way, the tweet was from Fox 9's digital reporter, Jeff Wald, who said, I'll put this on him in case other reporters didn't have...
I've got an update here. I've got an update.
The tweet was he did not speak with Jefferson. Did not speak with reporters from the locker room after the loss to the Bears. That might be the first time he's been with the Vikings. He hasn't spoken to the media, and you haven't.
He evidently talked when O'Connell was talking, and he did talk briefly. He didn't talk, and I don't blame him. He didn't talk for a long period of time. So he did talk, but it was while O'Connell was, and O'Connell, of course, is in a press conference room. Jefferson actually does his stuff in the locker room. And so that's why I think a lot of guys and gals didn't see him talking.
Okay, so disregard from Jeff Wald, Fox 9. Got to be a little quicker there on those 3-minute
Jeff was
press
probably in
conferences.
O'Connell. Yeah, it's, hey, look, I've done it. It's very difficult. Guys are talking, guys aren't talking.
But that matters because it's not. Listen,
Yeah.
Jefferson, he's frustrated, but all right, he's still there. Okay.
Jefferson said, "I'm never talking again, ever."
According to Fox 9. Fox 9. All right, let's before we get to some more therapy session here, and still almost 5,000 of you, an hour and a half into this really, really frustrating loss for the Vikings, who are now 4-6, 1-4 at home, on playoff life support in the NFC bracket right now. If your HVAC is on the fritz, if it's on the verge of being out of the playoffs, or maybe any sort of internal system deck, Standard Heating and Air Conditioning can help you.
Yeah, go to standardheating.com to join their smart club. You can get a head start on making sure that your HVAC system is all ready for winter. You do not want to wait. You don't want to delay this type of stuff, and you certainly don't want to DIY it. They helped me in my house. They helped me get the peace of mind when I was doing the inspection to make sure that HVAC was in good order. And they've also been servicing it still there as well. So appreciate them for doing so. Go contact Standard Heating and Air Conditioning to make sure your HVAC is ready for winter, and tell them that Purple Daily sent you.
Blackstack, Purple Daily wants to send you there too, because that's a great, great place to drink world-renowned craft beer in one of the best tap rooms in the entire state of Minnesota. It's one of the biggest tap rooms. They have a 190-inch big screen there where they've got sporting events. They have all sorts of space for work gatherings, big group gatherings. They're always just kind of tinkering with new beers and new drops every week. So this next week here, local drops. I believe it's New England IPA collab with Barrel Theory. So go in and ask for that. And also, if you mention Purple Daily sent you into Blackstack, you can get a 4-pack to take home with you, and also a beer on tap when you walk into that tap room. So Blackstack, awesome place. We've been hanging out with them and doing Purple Daily Unplugged there a year ago. for the last couple of years. So appreciate their partnership here on Vikings Vent Line. Same for the Canopy Group, Judd.
Yeah, because guess what? When we're talking about the Canopy Group, we're talking about independent insurance company based right here in our fine state, and they have your best interest in mind. That's what makes them different, much like a great sports executive, so probably not one that works for the Vikings right now. They are constantly on the lookout for the best talent available. The Canopy Group does the same for you when it comes to getting the best insurance coverage at the best price. What they do is they work with 16 groups of top-tier companies to make sure you have the best insurance roster available for auto, home, health, and business. And when it comes time for renewal, you are going to hear from the Canopy Group because they want to make sure that that insurance roster is humming along with the best possible deals. Give them a call, 1-800-967-3389, or check out their website, thecanopygroup.com. That's thecanopygroup.com.
All right, Vikings Vent Line continues here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, the like button. Keep spreading the word about Purple Daily here. Dex, who's next?
Yeah, let's go to Ariel, who has a hot take. She said she's a hot take ready to fire here on the Vikings Vent Line.
I'm calling from New York, from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. My dad's from St. Louis Park, so shout out to St. Louis Park for anyone who's. I know Judd lives there, so I have a hot take. Vikings fans, we don't deserve to watch the Vikings win a Super Bowl. We don't. There are so many Vikings fans who are comfortable with mediocrity that they cannot allow this team, even if it's brief discomfort, to stink for a little bit. Because I wanted Drake May originally, I'm not going to lie. But you know what? We are where we are. You can't jump off the wagon of a guy who's started 5 games. It's just unbelievable. This is why we will never win a Super Bowl. Because fans are very comfortable with getting this veteran quarterback for one season and then him pooping the bed in the playoffs and then saying, hey, you know what, maybe we'll be like the 2007 Giants, go 10-7 and then go on this magical carpet ride. I think Vikings fans need to learn how to sit with a developing quarterback and watch him develop. He has a lot in him. He has all the tools. You just need to give him time. And he looked really good operating 2-minute offense. I think what they should do more is do a hurry-up offense to help JJ, because I think he's more comfortable doing that. That's what I've noticed. But yeah, no, that's all I have to say. A lot of these Vikings fans, we don't deserve to win a Super Bowl if they keep this type of mindset, staying in purple purgatory for the rest of time. So thank you guys very much. I love your show, and have a good one. Okay, congrats, Dex, on becoming a father. Thank you very much.
Ariel, comment that would have been a perfect hottest takes Monday little bit there. I think kind of jealous she took that one. That's because I think she's got a great point in that, because we keep going back to the who's got the stomach for this. You don't know after 5 games one way or the other. Mac Jones is on the bench for the 49ers today because Brock Purdy came in. But Mac Jones was deemed unplayable as a starter at the end of that run. And we saw him with the Jaguars last year, right? It wasn't it Darnold versus Mac Jones in that game?
Yep.
And he actually showed a couple flashes in that game, but
both QBs were not good in that game.
No, it was really bad. Darnold kind of struggling at the half here against the Rams too, for the 3rd time in the last year and a half or so.
But to elaborate on her take, the other problem though is, like, it's incumbent upon the Vikings, right, to a certain degree though, to do this, and she's right. They've never stuck with this. This is the thing. We've just gone from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback, and look, Ponder was probably a terrible pick. Teddy got hurt, but I guess sort of in defense of Vikings fans, they don't have this reference point really.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, but we're used to being back in the day 8-8, or now 9 wins. And so I think it's really on both sides. Vikings fans are impatient, but a lot, this generation of Vikings fans has been brought up to be impatient because they pull the plug so quickly. Yeah. And that's what makes this weird now is, like, today, there were a lot of times I feel like today McCarthy's done at halftime with different regimes, not this one. But it's this weird thing of you're so used to, like, pulling the plug and then you go get a veteran, and then that guy's okay, and then you try to find the next one. And so I think it's on both sides. I think fans have been spoiled, but it's partially because the Vikings acquiesce and just continue to pull the plug, which is why I just want McCarthy to play. I'm willing to put up with this.
I am
For
too.
the rest of the season, I'm just willing to put up with this. Just forget the playoffs. It's so frustrating, too, because if you make them, like, let's say you back into them. I don't know how, but let's say you did. What are you going to do once you're there?
Okay, I agree with you. Play him. I have the stomach for this. I'm ready. I want to do this the rest of the season. Then we can all have a conversation after the season's over.
Agreed.
With two caveats. One being, just play him and see what happens doesn't mean throwing the ball 40 or 50 times to I think there has to be a rhythm to this.
Yes.
Get the run game going. Let him play off play action. Let him operate within it because he's not good enough or accurate enough. He's gonna have to work on things in the offseason, right? And then the second thing I would say is that we all reserve the right to congregate after 10 games and see how we feel.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
It has to be, I think this whole conversation about look, he's a bust already after 4 or 5 games and the guy can't complete a pass and therefore that's the the other caveat would be I also reserve the right to complain about the bad stuff while the process is happening. Well, you don't get the right to complain. No, I do, and I'm going to because you can't sail those passes to Justin Jefferson.
You're critiquing it.
Yeah, but it just complaining about it doesn't mean that I want to pull the plug on it after 4 or 5 games. There is a middle ground here.
And aren't you at least curious to see if it improves? It could just improve. And I'm not saying you'd get to the last game and it'd be like, oh my God, he's throwing 4 touchdowns and no picks. But it could improve. But what are the reference points? I'll ask you that question. What are the reference points? I know, probably if we're talking about a lot of Vikings fans, who's the first quarterback that the generation right now would recall? Would it be Tavares? 2005?
What are you talking about?
Like if we're talking about Vikings fans right now, not like me, I'm old. I remember Deanna Tarkington, but I'm saying if we're talking the median age of Vikings fans, okay? So let's take the median age of Vikings fans. Who are the quarterbacks that played? Where would they start? Culpepper?
I'm 40. Am I the median age of Vikings fans?
I'd say 35-ish. I'd say 35 to 40. So yeah, that's fine.
It'd probably be Culpepper.
Okay.
Right. I mean, for me, it was Wade Wilson because I was a psycho at 6 years old, breaking down every Vikings game.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as you're being involved in trying to dissect the play itself.
It was
probably Culpepper,
Cunningham, or Culpepper.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
But I'm saying, so you haven't had a lot of they tried to develop this guy. I mean, we got Ponder plug pulled. I get that. Bridgewater got hurt. I get that. But you've had a lot of veteran guys who just basically hold the fort until the next guy comes along.
Yeah, I do remember. So Culpepper was a different beast too because he was a 260-pound freak athlete that, in the absence of being able to fully read a defense or be super accurate, which he showed flashes, he would throw deep to Moss and then he would run the ball. Were kind of the two things he did early. But keep in mind, that dude threw a ton of picks early in his career and fumbled all the time, had turnover problems, the small hands, all that stuff.
Small hands are a real thing, you guys.
He also led the league in touchdown passes out of the gate as a 23-year-old first-year starting rookie, quote-unquote.
Yeah.
So he was definitely better than J.J. McCarthy early on. All right, let's keep rocking here on Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's. Colton is shredding on his guitar and also waiting to get in on some Vikings Vent Line here. Colton. We can't hear you, Colton. Nope, can't hear you. Try in the settings section on the browser you're on here. There might be a drop down for a mic. I'll let you figure that out here in the background. In the meantime, though, let's go to Dan. Dan, what's up, man?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you, Dan.
Awesome. So, to your guys' point that you were just talking about, man, I think we have it good right now, honestly, with McCarthy compared to Ponder, because I never want to relive those days ever again. But honestly, I think the thing that we need to start focusing the most on, I'm baffled why KOC won't actually start going with a short, quick play, especially with passing. because if we start going up tempo more often, I think our offense might be a little bit better. But I think it's just a lot of frustration with those deep passes that we're trying all the time. Defensively, I think we're doing okay, kind of bend but not break. Other than that, I want to get some more people on here for you. Declan, congratulations on becoming a father. I've been a father for going on 7 years now myself. It's a great thing. But thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Dan.
Dan.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming on, man.
Yeah, I had speaking of JJ McCarthy puking all over himself to a degree for 57 minutes this game. At about 3 a.m. last night, I had a good projectile that happened at about 2:30 from Sonny, old Sonny boy, tried to get a burp out, and he got the burp out.
Oh,
and
man.
it was a lot more than a burp. I can tell
Did it
you
wind up on the walls, the floors? What was
thankfully
the cleaning
landed
process?
on. We have this great like rug. It's not even a rug. It's like a mat. So
Puppy pad?
No, it's like a
That's
mat.
what I got. I got a lot of puppy pads.
Yes,
in case you're wondering what it would be like if Judd ever took Sonny in to babysit for a night, just go on the puppy
floor.
pad.
You could puke on a puppy pad.
Just crawl over to the puppy pad.
Yeah. So I emphasize with I empathize with JJ too, as someone was cleaning up puke off themselves at the wee hours of the night. Hopefully he doesn't have to do that tonight either.
Yeah.
I think Colton's mic
Am I
is
good?
now fixed. Yes.
We good?
Yep.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah,
I just had like a few points I want to talk about. One is I think Ginkle, Andrew Van Ginkles, he's the backbone of this defense. He was out here. I know those plays. He would sack the quarterback or get him down, and he'd go up and make a tackle from a short pass. I think it was Colston Loveland. He's unbelievable on the defense. Second thing, McCarthy on his high balls, I think almost all the passes he misses are up high. I think you go back, they're all high, and I think the drive before we went and scored the Addison touchdown, I think that's he on third down, I think it was like 3rd and 7, he hit Justin Jefferson over the top, missed him in the hands, and I think that's what ignited the frustration. And it also kind of shocks me that he lost his composure there, it doesn't shock me because it makes sense, but he's a very guy that I know that he keeps his composure. I met him when they came to Nashville. I'm from Nashville, and they came to Tennessee last year, signed a jersey for me. He's a great guy. And losing him, or when he's like frustration, not talking to anybody, not talking to the media. So I heard you guys talking. That's crazy. So that's second thing.
By the way, he did talk. I just want to clarify. He did talk to the media. Fox 9 was wrong about that. Yeah,
I got you.
He did talk to the media.
All right. But yeah, I'm just saying the frustration I get, it's not like him. It's weird to see him out of his shell. The third thing I want to say is last week, we know the criticism for KOC not running the ball. It was all there. He didn't run the ball. I mean, Aaron Jones, even in the beginning, they started running. He looked great, and they didn't run. So this week, they obviously went and started to try to run the ball more, and that was their thing. But I don't think that the preparation and the implementing that game plan into the offense was really good, because when he's back there, I don't think, when they put it in, they obviously like, okay, we got to run the ball this week. And I think that was successful. But I don't think there was enough preparation in preparing, in understanding, like, from the week. I mean, we went from 1 week and next week, we completely changed the game plan of the offense. I mean, we went from passing, and then just a straight running the ball. And I don't think that we're going to have success, or there was the right preparation was taken. And I don't think they realize that you can't just have success by just changing the way you run your offense in the next week. That's not how you're going to gain success and gaining yardage. So I don't think that's how that should have been done. I think more preparation should have been. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Colton, thanks for coming in, man. I mean, it is hot takes Monday on a Sunday here, but I think the Vikings are actually pretty good at running the ball. Again, today they were, what was it, 20-some carries or whatever, over 100 yards. I think it was 4.5 yards a carry, maybe more than that. And it was 5.2 yards per carry between Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, which I think is going to jump them into the top 10 in yards per attempt on the season. But I think they are last in the league in rushing attempts, or they're last in the NFC anyways in rushing attempts. But when they do commit to running, which they did on a lot of first downs today, it was like 4 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards. And then They just don't always stick to it or pound it in the way that other teams do.
Yeah, it seemed like in the second half, because JJ had such a bad first half, that they actually did a bit more. Again, going in last drive, I think he had thrown 5 passes. Jordan Mason, 6 carries for 45 yards.
Nice game.
Like, Aaron Jones is good. Don't get me wrong; he deserves to carry the ball quite a bit. But I think I could milk at least 10 to 12 carries from Jordan. Couldn't you? Like, I think he does enough when the ball's in his hands to deserve that. So I would like to see that become a little bit more of a two-headed monster than it's been of late. It feels like after the games in Europe, and I know that Mason fumbled in one of those and it was costly. I want to say it might have been Cleveland. It feels like his carries have gone down, and I know he's not great in pass protection, but it also, I don't know if he deserves to be punished as much as it feels like he's being punished with not being on the field and or carrying the ball.
Yeah. By the way, the Sam Darnold interception counter up to 2 on the day against the Rams. 2 interceptions for
Why'd you let him
your
go?
guy, Sam Darnold.
Why'd you let him go, huh?
Well, if you could just avoid playing the Rams or the Lions, he would be good. He'd be great. All right, who's next? Vikings Vent Line continuing here.
Yeah, a few more left. Let's go to Kyle next year. What's up, Kyle? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, how's it going, guys? You hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Kyle.
Awesome. Just want to say, like everybody else has, Declan, congrats on the kid. Awesome. You're like the voice of my generation, you know, in my 30s and whatnot. But real quick, I did want to give a shout out to the running backs. I thought they did really, really well. I wish they could be used more, like Judd said, with Jordan Mason being used a little bit more. It just seems he can miss tackles more. Also, like Boone says, I'd like to give some Skittles to Justin Jefferson for blocking. You know, that's some good stuff. And then also wanted to call out Dallas Turner and Van Ginkel. I thought Dallas Turner played really well against on Jonathan Grenard's side. It seemed he got a little bit more pressure than when he was trying to fill in for Van Ginkel. But yeah, I'm still with JJ. I still love the kid. I mean, he's only 22. I hope he does really well and whatnot, but he's got to work on the accuracy thing. So, Judd, I did have a question for you. Like, are they still working on his mechanics and his feet, or like his footwork in practice? Like, what's going on with that? But otherwise, just want to say thanks, guys. Awesome
Appreciate
stuff.
it, man.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man. Kyle, appreciate you, dude.
Appreciate it. So right now you're only allowed to watch essentially stretching in what they call individual periods, which is the quarterback's throwing into like a net. So we can't tell you how much that, like, it's an ongoing process in practice. Quite honestly, they did that during the bye week because there was no game plan installation, obviously, during a bye week. Like, once the bullets start to fly and the season starts, it's difficult to carve out time for like tutorials and fundamental work. So my guess is they're not doing a ton of that. My guess is, though, that they're going to regroup, and you definitely will see that when the spring practices start. This is why I want you guys is as thorough a book on J.J. McCarthy as a quarterback right now as I can get. And you can't get that if you bench him, and you can't get that if he's hurt. But this is why I want him to get the rest of the starts. No matter what happens, I want him to play, and I want to have a book, a video book of what he does well, what he's improved at, where he's not improving, because that's the only way to fix things. But as of like right now, week to week, game to game, with an entire team to prepare for games, there's not a lot of practice time to like pull JJ aside and like work on timing, footwork. That will be a point of emphasis, I think, once spring starts.
Yeah, I think what's tough, because I was definitely I tweeted something out during the game about like, hey, this is developing a quarterback takes longer than 4.5 games. It just does. And I got the inevitable, you probably said that about Christian Ponder responses back. Say, yeah, I did. Of course. Because you don't know, like, until you get to 15 or 20 games or whatever the sample is, at some point it just clicks for guys, and you go from, oh, Josh Allen's kind of crappy to, whoa, that guy's like an MVP. Or Darnold, for example, right? It just depends on, some guys are just awesome right away, and that's great. Drake May, totally different coaching staff and system last year. Drake May looked unplayable at times last year for the Patriots. All of a sudden, give him a breather in the offseason, comes back, boom, it clicks for him. it might not click too. There's a bunch of examples of guys that didn't click. Josh Rosen never clicked, out of the league. Christian Ponder never really clicked for that guy. But you don't know whether it's Ponder or whether it's Patrick Mahomes. I guess after 4.5 games, you kind of knew on Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. You have to commit to a certain sampling. Now, what makes this a little more tenuous for the Vikings is you're a year behind because of the meniscus injury, and you're going to be entering year 3 next year, which gets you even closer to having to make a contract decision, which obviously right now you'd be idiots. You don't have to make that decision for 2 more years. But you'd be idiots to do a contract extension. But part of the value of this experiment is he doesn't make any money. So if he can click at some point soon, but this year's already a lost cause. So the further down the line you get, the less valuable his contract becomes. And then it's just, is he a good enough player to sign to an extension? Again, you're 2 years away from that discussion. So there is some urgency, but you don't know after 4 games. And you didn't know after 4 games with Ponder. There were some flashes with him, but it had to play itself out over time. That's the process you are committing yourselves to.
May I also say that the Vikings in 2026 might be in a position, and again, these are like uncharted waters. I get this, okay? But they may, if they keep their draft picks and they draft 10 guys or 8 guys or something like that, those guys might need to play. Like this is the thing. They're always seemingly kicking the can down the road, right? Like 3rd and 4th round draft picks and 5th round picks can play immediately. And so like we're used to, well, the guy's a 5th round pick. Maybe in 2 years he'll play because the team's got veterans right now. But they're over the cap right now. They've got some guys who are going to be gone. I don't think it would be too much of the Wilfs to say, you know what? We'd like you to draft guys and actually bleep and play them. So like there's a whole thing here too. It was always risky, and we talked about this a lot, and it worked the first year. I get it, okay? But the competitive rebuild idea is always risky because it doesn't really allow for a lot of development. So like 2026, and people are going to get pissed about this right now, but that's okay. You can. Get mad at me, sports dad. 2026 might be based on, again, a reset, and you got to play kids. Like this, you cannot just go out in free agency every March. That's only once like every 5 years. And that, by the way, should be you're on the precipice of a Super Bowl. So there's a reality here where, and this is why Kwesi's job might be in jeopardy. There's a reality here where you are going to go out and make a lot of draft picks. You're going to play McCarthy. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to do this to be successful. Now, you can throw back this point at me. What about Justin Jefferson? I can tell you right now, I don't know. Okay? But there's a hard reality. There's a harsh reality facing everybody in Eagan right now, not about the moment, but about the future.
Your point about the free agency spree, you're right, because those are kind of backloaded contracts. Once you do it once or twice, even if you have a bunch of cap space, that cap space goes away. And then it comes down to the core talent you have that's under team control, the guys that you drafted. And because they've done a bad job of that, you thought that with back-to-back really good free agency classes, and they had one really good one that's been questionable, that was enough to maybe make up for the stink of the drafts if you get really good quarterback play too. And they've not fully whiffed on the 25 free agent class, but it's not been as impactful as the previous year. And you've gotten terrible quarterback play. And all of that together means you're a bad team that's not going to make the playoffs because you didn't draft well in the previous handful of years. Okay, what's the solution in 2026? You can't go back. There's no free agency well in 2026. You are $40 million over the cap. So you're right. You are probably closer to not a tear it down situation, but a step back a little bit in terms of the money you're going to pour into the team and hope that young guys and a quarterback take a step forward for a sustainable window starting in 2026.
Which is why I will again ask the question. It's rhetorical. Who runs the draft?
Oh, yes. All roads lead to the juicy conversations in January, February coming up here. We'll get to, looks like Rob is going to wrap us here on Vent Line in just a second. But SeatGeek, Judd, there's a lot of good sporting events and concerts. Oh, this is Dex SeatGeek.
I know.
Sorry.
Judd
does
fine.
SeatGeek on different shows.
No,
Dex
yep.
on this.
I'm still JJ McCarthy in this iteration. We can use Max Brosmer for another ones.
Oh, wow.
But go to Purple 10. Actually, I'm Max Brosmer. Let's be honest. Go to SeatGeek. Get it on the App Store. 10% off for any tickets with promo code PURPLE10. 10% off for any tickets. You know what? The Vikings aren't winning at home. Go see them on the road. You can get 10% off right now with promo code PURPLE10. It's a great app. Also, not just games. There's concerts. There's comedy shows. There's theater. There's plenty of different options on SeatGeek. Purple10 for 10% off.
Hey, this Thursday, we're doing our next Purple Daily Unplugged event, and maybe we can start some of the big picture conversations. But Pepsi is going to be served at Buffalo Wild Wings in Roseville, along with Vikings Takes. So 2 things here. The next Purple Daily Unplugged event, Thursday, November 20th, 6 o'clock is when we're going to start gathering and hanging out. You can get there whenever you want. Buffalo Wild Wings, it's open in Roseville. And then 6:30 we'll start the Unplugged podcast, kind of leading into Thursday Night Football. And we're giving away 5 Pepsi tailgate kits as well that you can win. So, yeah, come hang out with us. We'd love to see as many of you as possible on Thursday night around 6 o'clock at Buffalo Wild Wings in Roseville. And speaking of Pepsi, all season long, you've been able to get these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups right here, courtesy of Pepsi. And there's a QR code on the side. If you scan it, you can enter to win Victor's Ride, your very own Polaris Ranger 1000. 3 places to get these cups. Number 1, U.S. Bank Stadium during home games. Number 2, Buffalo Wild Wings, where you can order 10 wings of any kind and a Pepsi and get one of these. And then Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh locations. Pepsi is the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings. 2 Men in a Truck, the official moving company of Purple Daily here, Dex.
That's right. I've used them. Phil has used 2 Men in a Truck. Moving is easily probably like the most stressful thing you can do. I've been moving a ton over the last few years. Phil's moved all across the country a few times. So moving, super stressful, right? Let the experts, let the pros handle this. Don't have to worry about getting, who has a truck. 2 Men in a Truck. They have it. They have all different size trucks, too. They'll send you over a spreadsheet. What needs to be moved out of that house safely and appropriately. Tell them that Purple Daily sent you. No hidden fees, no service charges. What they quote is what you pay. Go to 2meninatruck.com and tell them that Purple Daily sent you.
All right. Let's put a bow on Vikings Vent Line here, Dex.
Rob, bring us home, man. What's going on?
Fellas, thank you. Thank you. Calling from Huntington Beach, Southern California. I'm 60 years old. Judd, I get it. I feel your pain. We all are in panic mode right now, and I don't want us to be. We've never had that franchise quarterback. I get it. But this is his 5th start in the NFL. If you look back at that draft class, how everybody else looked after 5 starts, you saw happy feet, you saw bad decision making. The things that I see from J.J. McCarthy is he's going through his progressions. He's not showing a lot of happy feet in the pocket. His throws are a little wild, which I understand. He will get control over that. Everything's 100 miles an hour. He'll get the touchdown. The thing that impresses me the most is that when you need him, his asshole doesn't turn into a cigar cutter like Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, or any of the other hacks that we've had throwing the ball for the Vikings. He relishes in that moment, and that's something you just can't teach. He's got leadership potential and qualities. For God's sakes, he's 22 years old. What the frick were we doing when we were 22 years old? Are you shitting me? So we got to give the kid a little bit of leeway, and the season may be over. At least, Kwesi, we spent some money. We tried to do something positive. There's nothing like having hope at the beginning of the year. And I get it. The season's probably a wrap. Let's just see what we got in J.J. McCarthy. I mean, we're all in on this guy. I think he's got all the intangibles. KOC's play calling wasn't bad. If you go and watch that game over again, and I know I'm going to have to because my liver filed a restraining order against me by halftime. All those guys were open.
Yeah.
JJ missed the throws, but they were open. The play calls were great. The guys were open. We could have moved the ball down the field. When you don't, our defense just gets gassed. And it's so unfortunate because at the end, when we played like shit, we still had an opportunity to win with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go, and JJ let us down and put us in position to win. And it's just unfortunate the way it happened with the kickoff. But, man, there's so many positives and so many things to look forward to. And I really take homage against that woman in New York that says we don't deserve to win a Super Bowl. If there's any fan base that deserves to win a freaking Super Bowl, it's the Viking fan base.
Rob, closing strong
Great
here
stuff, Rob.
on Vikings Vent Line. Yeah, I mean, it really all comes down to, is his accuracy fixable? Because he does seem to have some other, and part of accuracy is not just like placement of the football left and right, or it's the layering of the football on some of those touch throws too. And it's a big, there's been quarterbacks who have definitely fixed it. A lot of guys hone it. Drew Brees was not a 70% completion guy his first couple of years, became one, obviously one of the legendarily accurate quarterbacks ever. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. But does it worry you that 2 years in, he still has these like wild mechanical issues that weren't ironed out in high school, weren't ironed out in college, weren't ironed out in 2 years of, he couldn't practice a ton last year, obviously, but that's it. If he can hone his accuracy, and you get the accuracy along with the leadership, 9 personality stuff, the rising up at the end of games, all right, you're good to go. But I don't know if he's fixing his accuracy between weeks, 11 and 12 going into Lambeau Field.
Oh, no. He's not. Can he just improve him this much? Just a smidge every week? That's my question. Just a smidge.
He was 2 for 8 throwing to the left side of the field, according to the grid that I'm looking at today.
This was an awful performance. I mean, like in some ways, if the Vikings hadn't given up the return at the end there that led to the Santos field goal, I would have been very curious to see the reaction on this show if they had won, because it would have been one of the most unfulfilling victories of all time as far as like, you can't gloss over the vast majority of that game since they lost. The reaction was pretty much the standard of what I would expect. But yeah, there's a lot of question marks here. And I'm sure there's a lot of people, to go back to our last caller, who are very, very tight right now in the sphincter over what's going on.
The sphincters are as small as a cigar cutter.
Yep, they are very tight. They are very tight because they're very concerned, because your questions, they don't have answers to those questions yet.
Any final thoughts from you guys here? So tomorrow we're going to do our hottest Vikings takes live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, 9 a.m. Central Time. I'll have a pie chart of blame off this game. We'll do silver linings, and then the week will progress. State of the Vikings should be deep, juicy discussions on Tuesday. But any final thoughts from you guys before we say goodbye here on Vent Line?
No, just prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for a crash football landing, folks, because that's how this feels. And I know the Vikings fans aren't used to that necessarily, because it's a weird season. Like ordinarily, if you're 4-6 and your team's just not good, it's just going to be a slog, and you quit watching games. I would say that in this case, there's every reason to continue to watch because of the development aspect and where it goes. So. Yeah. Very, very, very curious to see what transpires in the coming weeks, because I think if you give up on McCarthy completely, you're not reading to the end of what could be a really interesting book. The question is, a thriller, or just a complete letdown? What's the book?
I want to keep reading the book. You've committed. We wanted them to try purchasing a book like this.
Yes.
And at the first few chapters are like, well, the first couple chapters were blank. You had to wait until chapter 3 to even start the book.
They were blank.
And now the words are kind of all over the place in chapter 3 and 4. But yeah, man, I personally, I feel like I do have the stomach for this. You're not going to hear me. You're not going to hear me calling for a Mac Jones trade in February or March. Now, I may ask you guys on an episode at some point
Is one available?
About that, but
what do I have to give up to get Mac Jones?
What if it was a second-round pick? Would you trade for Mac
I was
Jones?
I was a lot more upset a week ago because I felt the play calling was atrocious. This time I don't. So, yeah, his play was atrocious, but I don't feel like today he was set up to fail. He just sort of, unfortunately, failed himself, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Because I hated the play calling last week.
Dex, any final thoughts from you?
We have to just kind of alter our expectations for the rest of the year, which I feel like I was already kind of doing that, even going back to some of the Carson Wentz starts from a month ago. That playoffs were probably going to be far-fetched. So once McCarthy comes back, it's all about development. And I think that is a hard pill for a lot of football and Vikings fans to swallow. But that is the boat that this team is in right now. And there's plenty of things we can still criticize and have more nuanced conversations with. Excited for hottest takes tomorrow. But yeah, we probably have to just shift a little bit of the expectations.
And by the way, those nuanced takes are going to start after hottest takes tomorrow, because I have a feeling that the takes are going to be less nuanced during the hottest takes segment.
Of course.
We'll see.
Of course.
So, all right, dudes. Heck of a 2-hour therapy session here. Hopefully it was helpful to those of you that were ready to rage after that game. Vikings 4-6, buried in the division, playoff odds pretty much kaput. But we'll still be with you here every single day, breaking it down on Purple Daily. Vikings Vent Line, the place to be after Vikings games. We'll see you live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central Time. For the Sports Dad, Judd, inside U.S. Bank Stadium for Dex, I'm Phil. And we do just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.